What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. So, Starfield seems to be the talk of the town, obviously. It's coming out in like 3 days or so. It is the #1 seller on Steam. Not even out yet. Wow. The hype is real. You know, people in the comments saying it's ridiculous. Also, added little thing, you know, we all know Starfield's going to be like the biggest game this year, basically. But I was listening to Podcast Beyond because Max is back and Brian was back. So they're my two favorite people at IGN. So I say, you know what? They always make me laugh. They always see something funny. So let's go. I did not know. I was not ready for what they were going to do. They put the smackdown on Sony. They were upset. They're fans. They're Sony fans. I mean, they're video game fans, yes, but they're Sony fans. You know, I'm not gonna besmirch their names or anything like that. And they like what they like, and that's fine. And I like them because they're funny, and they're not fanboys. They're not ponies or donkey unicorns. Yo, Brian and Max went in on Sony in a way that I did not think that they would do. So basically their argument was that they're at Gamescom. They recorded this podcast in Gamescom, right? And so it's Podcast Beyond. They were like, yeah, we're at Gamescom. We're going to celebrate the Gamescom game. Now, this is separate from the other, whatever that was. They were just talking about the ONL, Opening Night Live. But this was the entire Gamescom, just the conference, the show floor, and all that stuff. And they were complaining about how Sony wasn't even there. It's like Sony used to be the company that put out PSXs. Remember those? It's the celebration of PlayStation. They had fans there. They showed some new stuff, all that good stuff. They used to do that. They don't do it anymore. And so they were like, what happened, Sony? You could have just set up a booth and had a TV screen with Spider-Man playing on a loop or something. They had nothing. Nothing for their fans. And they looked at Nintendo. They said Nintendo didn't show anything new, but they had a booth. They had games. They had people in there. They looked at Microsoft. Microsoft put out the biggest booth in the history of Gamescom. It was 58,000 square feet or something like that. It was huge. Huge. I've been in a house. This is how big of a house I've been in. I've been in an 18,000 square foot house. That's a mansion. It was a mansion. 58,000 square feet. Oh, 5 times bigger than the mansion I was in. 4. But 4.5. But, the point is, Sony is not trying. You know why they're not trying? Because they feel that they don't need to try. They don't need to do anything because everything that they're doing is working. Until it doesn't. And they went in on the PlayStation Portal. They made fun of the new PSP. The same things that everybody has been saying about that piece of hot trash garbage Portal is the same things that these Podcasts Beyond, a PlayStation-centric show with all podcast fans. I mean, Stella was on there. She's Xbox, but whatever. She wasn't, for the most part, making fun. But it was all Max and Brian. There was somebody else there. I can't remember their name. Sorry. But when you have your key PlayStation show on the biggest video game outlet, for the most part, dogging what you're doing, your brand, just urinating all over it. Defecating all over your brand because you're not doing. I mean, they were being polite. They were like, "Oh, we missed you, Sony. Come back." There was stuff like that. I was like, but they were making some funny jokes at the expense of Sony, at the expense of PlayStation, and it was hilarious. And if you guys, I know you guys hate IGN. It's good. It's a pretty good listen, and it showcases the concerns of PlayStation fans, and that's why all these fans are freaking out and being irate and trying to find some narratives to have a W or to create a narrative that might possibly be a W, maybe. They can't do it. When the most popular PlayStation show is making fun of PlayStation, you're in trouble, PlayStation. This is the tide is turning, and it's the whole thing about that show, that podcast Beyond with Max and Brian, is that it wasn't even about Starfield. It was about Sony not being at Gamescom. That's what it was about. It was about Sony and how they're acting this generation. And Sony, how they feel that they're winning and they're in first place, so they don't need to try. They don't need to be something for their fans. They have nothing. They were also pointing out the fact that Sony's public relations or their fan interactions is negative 1,000. It's zero. No, nothing. What do they have? The blog? That's it. That's nothing. Meanwhile, you got Phil, you got Sarah, you got, I would say Matt Booty, but he's like a junkyard dog with the little rusty chain and stuff. He's ever since those emails came out, I'm scared of Matt. He's a wild man. Anyway, you got Aaron, you got all these people talking. You see people in there, hey, how you doing? Saying hi and stuff. Who's the person that you see out in the wild at these cons, at these showcases from Sony that is saying, hey, what's up, yo, what's up, fan, yo, what's up, fan? Who's the person that you can say by name that's the person that is up in there talking to fans, doing interviews, all that stuff? Who is it? It's not Jim Ryan. He's not a player. He doesn't play games. He just does that because whatever. He thinks that's his job. But Herman Holtz, nope. He's on video a couple times talking about games. I guess he's doing a good job. I don't know. Who is it? They don't have nobody. They have no public facing, community driven movement. Nothing. And I'm like, how y'all, I mean, it's almost like they have to create their own community over at PlayStation. So with the PlayStation, the Prime Premium PlayStation podcast over at IGN, smacking Sony up and down Gamescom in Cologne, Germany. What will it take for Sony to realize that they're circling the drain? Do they not realize what's happening? Do they not realize that the sentiment towards their brand is changing? I mean, look, I'm an Xbox fan, but I'm not blind to reality. And if Xbox is messing up, I'm gonna be like, yo, you're messing up. And I have no qualms about bouncing off of Xbox because of something that they do or do not. And there's a reason why I did a video about why I don't like Sony and PlayStation. And it's not about the studios themselves. It's not about the artists that make the games. That's not what it is. And I'm not gonna go into it, but there has to be people over at Sony, over at PlayStation, that see what's happening. And I want to know what they're thinking. I want to know what their plan of action is. Oh, we're going to put out some trailers and some cool games, and then everything will be erased. Everybody's going to have amnesia. They're going to not know about nothing, right? Is that what it is? Sorry, I dropped my mic. Is that what it is? You know? I want to know. I don't think, I mean, I could say, oh, the damage is done. It's too late now. There's no turning back. But Sony fanboys are a special breed of equine. And they will forget so quickly. I mean, Sony literally had the worst data breach in video game history with the PS3. The PSN was down for a month. Not a day, not 16 hours, a month. That's how wickety whack that their back end was. They got hacked so hard, it broke Sony for a month. It broke PlayStation for a month. Y'all don't remember that. No, nobody remembers that. Mad people's information got stolen. Y'all don't remember that. So, and you know, look, it's bad when IGN's making fun of your not even out yet PlayStation Portal. I mean, they were making so much. They were like, one of them was like, oh, I kind of like the way it looks. It looks sleek. Everybody else was like, nah. $200 and this thing barely does anything? Nah. Yo, that's bad. You know you down bad when your favorite fans of your favorite show is just like, nah, that ain't it, Sony. That ain't it, PlayStation. Sony was supposed to be the hardware kings. They're supposed to be a hardware company first. What happened? Why is Microsoft passing them in hardware? Specs, design. I mean, I would say the only thing that PlayStation is doing better is the I/O output, the I/O throughput, excuse me, for the memories. But that's a design choice. They just made it faster, you know? And they overclocked it. So they're having their own issues with that right now. And that's the whole PS5 Pro debate. And I think they're going to do a PS5 Pro. I think because they can't overclock the PS5 anymore because they already overclocked it. So they have to do a Pro. And here's my prediction, and then I'll bounce. If PlayStation 5, not even if, I hope they do a Pro. Because PlayStation 5 does a Pro, let's say next year, 2024, or they announce it 2024, comes out 2025, right? Xbox is going to come out with their next system in probably 2027, let's just say around 7 or 8, but I would say 7 because they already know that Sony's planning on a 2028 release of the PlayStation 6, right? So they're going to try to do a Xbox 360 on them, right? Release a year early, get that generation going quick like, right? Over-engineer it, make it easy for the devs, get them on that. So if it happens that way, if PlayStation has a PlayStation 5 Pro and they'll have the power narrative for a year or two or whatever it is, right? Then Xbox comes out with their next generation, leaving PlayStation in the dust. And they have a choice to make. They could be like, oh shoot, we had to come out with a generation now, the new generation now, or they could stick to their plan. Or they can't come out with the new generation because they're not ready. And if they're working on a Pro, it probably means they won't be ready for a PlayStation 6 anytime soon. And if Xbox is working on the next gen Xbox, which means that they will be ready when they're ready, which means it'll be ready earlier than whatever the PlayStation 6 is going to be. And so if that happens, and I hope it does happen, because that way it staggers the generation and it isn't direct competition. It gives each console maker a little bit of breathing room, a little bit more of a sales bump, if you will, or shine in the spotlight without any competition. That's what Sony likes. They don't like to have competition. And so if that happens, it's better for all parties, and it will kind of showcase, I mean, that way each console manufacturer won't cannibalize each other, you know what I'm saying? So Sony will have their time to shine. How they perform will be just on the merits of their actual device and not, competition, console war stuff. And then when Xbox comes out, they'll have their time to shine and they will perform based off of the merits of their machine and their marketing and their everything else. And that's better for the market because that way everyone has their shot to do their thug thistle without any distractions, without any, unfair pressures or pressures at all within the market. And like I said, I've always been for, pro market stuff. I don't want video games to go away. And one of the reasons why I hate Sony is because they're doing things that are anti-market, anti-video games, anti-health of the video game industry. And anybody's messing with video games who's making it worse for us gamers is not good for me. I don't like that. I don't know why anybody would be on the side of somebody who is actively trying to destroy video games for their benefit, for their profit benefit, and that is it. So I'm like, nah. What needs to happen over at Sony is they need to get rid of Jim Ryan and get somebody else in there who's an actual gamer, period. Somebody who knows how to code, period. Somebody who is not just a CEO businessman, but who understands the mentality of gamer, the passion of gamers, and what makes gamers love video games. Jim Ryan is not that man. Sorry. But, you know, that's all I got to say. I appreciate y'all listening to my dumb ass, hanging out and all that good stuff. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know if y'all go watch that IGN Podcast Beyond latest episode. Let me know what y'all think about it. It's hilarious. Or listen to it. I just listened to it. I didn't watch it. Yeah, let me know about what y'all think about. I mean, the Starfield hype is crazy. The PSP, the new PSP, PlayStation Portal. Oh, what a disaster. Honestly, all I've been seeing in the comments is all Starfield hype, so I will not be mad if y'all just talk about Starfield and how good it is and how excited you are. I will not be mad because I'm excited too. Let's go. I preach. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Take the wait.